series work again, and today we just once again have a towel for helping us out a little bit, some easy props. So for anybody online or at home, if you have a towel, just get it long ways, and then get a nice little roll. Right, so we're going to do some nice towel work, but we're also just going to start off with our some warm up. Maybe even do a little breathing to get ourselves going. So once you got your towel set up, for now we just put it off to the side. Come on our mats, knees in 90 degree, grab behind the ankles, roll back, and engaging the back, letting that back lengthen out as you lay down. Remember our trick here, put our elbows down to the ground, lift up our back, stretch it away from our pelvis. Hands behind the head, gently lift the head, stretch the neck out, lay it down. And then we can bring our legs up, left and right, grabbing on top of the knees or behind the knees, whatever your range is, and then cross the right hand on top, and we'll start with some pulsing. When that pulsing start going side to side. Start going into some circles. Anyway, one of the things we want to try to remember today as we're working on things is the engagement of the feet. So even now, as we're doing this, are you engaging your feet, pushing your toes, the Barbie feet, as my teacher likes to say. All right, switch grips, and we start doing the circles the other way. Pushing those big toe mounds together, pushing them away. Start going side to side. And finishing with some pulsing. And release, let the legs come down one at a time. Once again, we can between poses quickly. Stretch out the back, stretch out the head. John, you'll be even taller at the end of class. Alright, and then with feet together, knees together, we'll start going legs apart, legs together, knees apart, knees together. Once again, keeping our feet engaged, so pushing your big toe mound into the floor, pushing the heel into the floor, pulling the heel back towards your seat, engaging those muscles in all directions. And then let the knees go wide. The limit should be that you can keep your feet fully engaged on the floor. And bring the hands to the belly. We'll do a couple of big belly breaths. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Are you keeping your feet engaged? Can you actually lift your toes up off the floor, keeping your toe mounds down? Two more big breaths. Alright, release the toes, bring the knees back together, walk our feet hips distance apart. Excuse me. Then we'll roll over to our side. We'll sit up for a second and get our towels here. So you want to lay a towel along the length of your mat. Sitting on the end of the towel. Once again, grabbing behind the knees as we roll back, stretching out over that towel. Right down our center line. Arms out wide for a bit of balance. And we'll just go through some of those range of motion for the hips, the different movements. So we'll start with some imprint and arch, imprint and arch. Even while we're doing this, can remember the engagement of the feet, pushing the big toe mounds into the floor, pushing the heels into the floor. Imagine that you're pulling the heels back towards your seat. All right, coming to neutral spine. Take a breath. Exhale, and then we'll start doing the teeter-totter. So right hip down, left hip up. Left hip down, right hip up. Keep going back and forth. We want to try to keep our knees fairly steady. We don't want our knees going all wiggly wobbly, so knees up. Once again, to help keep those knees in their proper position and engaged, pushing the feet into the floor. Keep on teeter-tottering. Alright, bringing it back to center, or no, sorry, this time just come down to the right side and hold it. And once again, big exhale. This time you can bring your hands up onto your chest. So engage the belly lock, that's belly button down and towards the pelvis, stomach up underneath the ribs. Exhale and breathe up into your chest and ribs. Can you feel your ribs expanding into your hands? Are you remembering to engage your feet, pushing down the big toe joints, pushing the heels in, pulling the heels back towards your seat? Alright, 2 more big breaths on this side. Bring it back to central or to neutral. We're going to go back and forth a couple of times before bringing it onto the left side. And once again, we'll do some breathing. So belly lock, ribs knit down, pull towards the pelvis, and now we're imagining that we're drawing the breath all the way up into our upper chest. As we're breathing, are we keeping our feet pushing into the floor, especially that big toe mound? One more big breath. Exhale, bring your hips back to neutral. Teeter-totter back and forth a few times. Bring your arms out wide again for the balance. We come to neutral. Now we do the third brain motion, which is to bring the hip towards the ankle. So left hip down towards left ankle, right hip up towards right shoulder, and then just pivot back and forth. Once again, we want to remember to engage our feet into the floor, especially the big toe mound. Push the heels in. Alright, then we'll bring it back to the hips, back to neutral. And once again, we bring our hands by our side, and this time we'll just go take a big breath to relax before we start our next movement. So once again, here with the towel underneath our back, we want to imagine that we can really push our whole spine down into that towel, especially between the shoulder blades, low back, areas where we tend to arch. We're going to anterior tilt. So a couple times, just really engage, pushing, pushing, pushing. Can't really see on the camera, but pushing, pushing, pushing into the towel. As we're going into some other poses, we want to be able to use that activation to get deeper into the pose. Alright, now relax. We'll just once again roll off to the side. Carefully remove the towel. And then come on up to all fours. Alright, so once we get ourselves set up here, we're going to tuck the toes. Make sure that we get a good engagement in the toes. Once again, using our downward dog arm, so index finger pointing straight forward, really engaging the knuckle joint, make sure that it is down, pushing into the floor, just like we were making sure to push our big toe joints into the floor earlier. And from here, we'll just get a little shoulder action, shoulder push-ups, bring the shoulder all the way in, all the way out, all the way in. Let's get that range of motion. Now come to a nice neutral position between the two where you feel the strongest, where your neck is nice and free. And we'll do some cat-cow. So exhale, let the belly drop. Inhale. Exhale as we go up. Inhale as we go down. Alright, this time when we come up, just come up and hold. Can you breathe into your rear back, into your back, expanding your back while keeping your belly engaged? One more big breath. And release, coming back to neutral. Set our feet back onto the tops of our feet. Knees go wide and push back into a child's pose. Now, while we're in this child's pose, we want to imagine that we're lifting their back just like we were pushing our back into the towel before. So by farther we lift our back, the better we can get into a forward fold. If your head isn't all the way on the floor, take one hand, your left hand, to make a fist. Right hand, make a palm, put it on top so you can relax your forehead, calm your nervous system. Even in this position, are remembering to engage your feet, pushing the tops of your feet into the floor, your toes into the floor. Alright, then coming back up to all fours. Bring your knees back together, flip the feet over. Once again, do a couple shoulder push-ups to get that nice neutral shoulder position. And then we'll push back up into a downward dog. Once again, imagine you're lifting all those muscles on your spine that you were using to push into the towel earlier. If you want to, you can come forward through a plank, then drop down onto your belly, or you can just drop onto your knees, come down, and then from here we're going to roll onto our sides. Once again, you can have your arm stretched out long in front of you, or you can cup it your head like a pillow, whatever is more comfortable for you. We're going to draw our knees. We have our knees at a 90-degree angle. Once again, depending on the angle of the hip will tell us how intense this stretch is going to be, the workout. And we'll start off, all right, bring this hand, the left hand, as an outrigger. Start doing some clamshells again. So if you can, lift the bottom foot just a little bit, keeping your big toe joints together. And this time, finish, just hold it up. Big breaths. Remember to engage a bit of an imprint in your back, even when you're laying on your side. And as you imprint, can you draw the right side or the underside up off of the floor? Can you engage and lift on the underside? And release. That leg down. Let your arm come onto your side. Relax. Just take a couple breaths. Alright, now we'll bring our arm back out as an outrigger. Stretch out that upper leg all the way. Can we remember the engagement of the foot? Imagine that you're pushing your big toe joint into a wall. Spread and flare your toes. And we'll start doing some leg lifts straight up and down. Remember to engage your abs and to do that imprint with your back. crossing, so on the way up, twist your exterior rotation. On the way down, interior rotation. Way up, exterior, turn, toes up. Alright, this time when you bring it up, reverse it. So now we want toes up, bring it down, interior rotation, bring it up, toes up, bring it down. And bring that back in to relax. Yeah, working out some of the little muscles in our hips that we don't always use. So once again, was just for as we get ready to bring that leg back out, remember to engage your abs, to have a tilt, or sorry brains, to have an imprint in the back, and to try to lift your ribs on the lower side up a little bit. So we get really strong engagement through our core. Bring the arm out as an outrigger, bring that leg out straight, and then we'll start, just bring it forward, exhale, inhale, bring it back. And do it nice and slow, under control, trying to keep the ankle at hips height the whole time. And you bring it back, once again, really maintain that imprint. Get a bit more range. Imagine you're pushing the big toe joint into a wall the whole time. Engage and spread your toes. And this time when you bring your leg forward, bring as far as you can, and bring it just down onto the floor for a nice stretch. You can release the other arm back to your side. Once again, even in this, if you're relaxing, still try to keep some engagement through the abs, lower ribs. And if you're feeling loosey-goosey, you can also straighten out that lower leg. But if that's too much, stay at your level, stay at your spot where you can engage the muscles, engage the toes, and keep all the imprint and all that good form. Alright, and get the arm out there as an outrigger. Draw those legs back together. And just relax. Alright, once again, stretching out that top leg, bring the arm as an outrigger. And we're swinging it back and forth a couple times, focusing on bringing it back as far as we can. Once again, really maintaining that imprint as you're bringing it back. This time, bring it back to hold. Bend at the knee. If you can reach, grab that ankle. Now once again here, check in, engage those abs, imprint, imprint, imprint the back, engage the lower ribs that are on the ground, see if you can lift them up a little bit. leg into the hand pulls back on the leg, or the arm pulls back on the leg. So you got a lot of dynamic tension in there. If you let go, your leg would go kicking out. All right, now release that kick and see if you can draw the heel closer towards the seat. And now see if you can draw that knee farther back, but imprint, imprint, imprint. Don't shortcut your hips on this stretch. And release, bring that leg slowly back, let it rest on top of the other one. Take a couple deep breaths and relax. Alright, while we're here, we'll do one more round. So bring the arm out. It's an outrigger. Bring that leg out behind you. Swing back and forth a couple times. This time when you bring it behind, bend at the knee, bring that arm back, grab the ankle. Check in, imprint, imprint, imprint. Lift those bottom ribs a little bit if you can. Gauge the abs. And then kick as strongly as you can. Arm pulling back on the leg, leg pushing on the arm. Get some hand strength going as well. Are you grabbing your foot with all your fingers? Can you grab a little extra with your pinky finger? Alright, release the kick, draw the heel towards the bum. Alright, check your imprint before drawing your knee back a little bit farther. You got that range. Oh, that's nice. And release. Just for a minute, we're going to roll onto our bellies. We'll introduce a little bit of Cobra. I personally just kind of had a moment of better understanding of how it works. So that's been pretty cool. So once again, I think whenever I tried to go in, I would be bending at the ribs and trying to push back, kind of misunderstanding that the whole thing is actually lifting your whole spine, much like we were pushing our spine into the towel. Now we're going to lift our spine away, and we're lifting it away actually right here from the hip. So for me at least, this is actually quite a bit of a hip stretch as well. So once we get in, we're going to make sure we got our feet pushing into the floor, lift our knees a little bit, and then just very relaxed, having your arms out in front, elbows about shoulder width. Practice lifting this part of your back. And you just go back and forth. For me, it was really discovering about using those muscles. And so now the real action of this comes from the low back, right above the hips. You guys kind of getting that? Am I explaining it? Yeah. So if you're getting that action, once again, now you just hold it up, take a couple of breaths. Once again, remembering our feet as we have been in all the other poses, pushing the tops of the toes into the floor so we can lift our knees a little bit. And release. Just let your whole body stretch long, kind of doing a laying on your belly shavasana. Alright, we'll do one more round before we roll into the other side, doing our hip stretches. So draw your elbows in towards you a little bit, lifting your upper body. Push, push, push your feet into the floor to lift your knees. Gauge the belly and lift that lower back. And then lift to hold. And release. If it's more comfortable, you can also just cross your hands in front and put your forehead on your palms or on the top of your hands. Alright, so as we're starting to come out of this, can you push into your tops of your toes, engage your lower back, take a couple deeper breaths, push into an imprint. So even here you feel like you're lifting your back away from the floor. And then we'll roll off onto their sides as we do the hip work on the other side. Once again, knees at a 90-degree angle, hips angles can kind of vary a bit depending on how intense you want it to be. Left arm, this time can be straight out, used as a pillow. So everybody's situated, bring the right arm out as an anchor, lift that left foot up a little bit, and we'll start doing some clamshells. Now remembering to engage your abs. Imagine you can lift the lower ribs off the ground. Maintain that imprint. And this time when we go up, we'll hold up. And just bring that leg back down, bring your arm to your side, relax, take a couple of breaths. once again, bringing our arm back out. Just balance ourselves, steady ourselves, and we'll bring that top leg straight out. Behind us. And start bringing it back and forth. Oh wait, up and down. Up and down. There we go. Remembering the sequence. All part of the learning curve. Once again, remembering to engage that foot. Imagine that you're pushing big toe mound into a wall, spreading your toes if you can. Yeah, we'll do a little nerve flossing, so exterior tilt, toes up on the way down, up, point the toes down when you come down, toes up all the way up, toes down on the way down. And reverse, toes down, leg up, toes up, leg down. Toes down, leg up, toes up, leg down. And relax, bring that leg back on top of the other one, let your arm come to your side. Boba's joining us for some yoga today.
Instead of goat yoga, it's cute.
Alright, so now we'll just get ready to do our next round. Remember all of our engagements, imprint the back. See if we can lift up those lower ribs. Bring your arm out as an anchor. Bring that leg, top leg straight back. And then exhale, bring it forward. Inhale, bring it back. Once again, keeping it about hip level the entire time. Engaging. Big toe mound, spreading the toes. When you imprint, bring it behind you. Alright, this time when we bring it forward, we'll just bring that foot down. Get a nice stretch. If you want to straighten out the lower leg, a little extra bang for your buck. And here, remember to engage the feet. So even with the bottom foot, imagine that you're pushing that big toe joint away so that the distance from the inner and outer ball joints or joints of your feet is the same. You're maintaining the imprint in your back, and you're engaging those lower ribs so you're pulling up off the floor. Alright, then bring those legs back together. Take a couple breaths and relax. checking your engagements once again, bringing your arm out as anchor, and straightening that top leg out. We'll bring it back and forth a couple times. And so I'm going to bring it back, bend at the knee, bring that arm around to grab the ankle. Alright, once again, checking all the engagements, imprint, lifting the lower ribs, then kick, 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 and foot into the hand, hand pulling back, arm pulling back. Remember once again to really engage and grab with that pinky finger as well. And then let go on the kicking and draw that heel towards your bum. And then remember to imprint, imprint, imprint as we start to draw that knee farther back. And release. Bring those knees together, arm on your side. Couple breaths to relax. Alright, once again bringing our arm back to an outrigger, checking all our engagements, imprint, lifting those lower ribs, straighten out the top leg, exhale, bring it forward, inhale, bring it back, and through, back and forth a couple times. And this time we'll bring it back, bend at the knee, bring that arm around to grab the ankle, check all our engagements, especially that imprint, and kick, kick, kick. And then go that kick, draw the ankle towards the bum. And then really strong imprint as we draw that knee back. And release. Alright, then once again, rolling over onto our stomachs, we'll review the cobra real quick. Now, once again, elbows and arms shoulder width apart, nice easy, arms in front of shoulders, nice easy angle there. Pushing our toes into the floor, we lift our knees, and once again, we're not lifting at the shoulders, but lifting here at the low back. Go back and forth a couple times just to get that engagement. And then see if you can hold it up. Can't quite see, but alright, so Rachel, can you lift here? Can you imprint, like imagine that you're doing that imprint. It's a tricky engagement, right? Because we all want to lift through our shoulders. You're getting it. Yeah, that's, oh, you're right. Now you get some movement there in the low back. All right, we can let that go. Once again, just relax. Do a stomach laying shavasana here. Alright, so once again, we'll just do a nice hip opener. Seeing that we've been working on that front hip flexor. So once again, bringing the arms out in front, cross, bring the right arm first, then the left arm. And from here, once again, getting that imprint, and then really push the right toes into the floor as we bend the left knee. And reach around and grab. Same ideas we have been working on before. And so once again, kick, kick, kick. And then releasing that kick and drawing the heel towards the bum. Now can you push the hip into the ground and lift that knee just a little bit. And slowly, carefully release. Let that foot go. Bring the arm back around. Hands out. Head, forehead down and relax. As we get ready to go into the other side, once again, can you imagine that you're lifting this low part of the back right here that we were working on with our cobra. So once again, this time we'll take the left arm in first, then the right arm. Push the left toes into the ground, lifting up the knee, and bend the right. Bring that arm around to grab the ankle. And kick, kick, kick. Alright, are you engaging those muscles in the low back, lifting them like we were in the cobra pose? And then release that kick, draw the ankle towards the bum. Really engage that imprint and push the hip into the ground as we lift that knee. Oh, that's good. And release. Slowly letting that leg go down to the ground. Bring those arms around. Letting your forehead come and relax. And you really breathe into your back body while you're on the floor. Once again, imagine that your slight engagement of the abs, that the ribs are pulling towards the pelvis, and breathe into the back. Alright, we've been doing a lot of back bending, so we'll do a counter stretch with some child's pose, so just walking ourselves back slowly. Big toes together, knees wide, walk back into child's pose. Once again, if your forehead's not coming down, left hand makes a fist, right hand just on top. Alright, so from child's pose, we'll come back up into all fours here. We'll get the roll over, get on the balls of our feet. Get that engagement through the arms, get good downward dog arms, lift up. And then walk it back, hands walking back, bend your knees generously, put your hands on your knees, take a big breath as we stand up. Oh, cutting myself off on the camera. All right, we'll do one more standing variation here. So we've been working on those front hip flexors, so we're gonna keep that one. So first we'll just work on a bit of balance. So left heel up, bring that up against your right leg, and then just slide it up a little bit, standing on one foot. Bring that knee forward and drop the foot back down. Same thing, turn the foot out, or lift the heel, turn the foot out on the other side, and just draw it up a little bit. Keep pulling those elbows back, put the hands on the hips. And then let it go. It's time now switching back over, so left heel up, and this time we're just gonna do a lift of the knee and grab that ankle. Once again, working on that stretch that we've been working on. If you're having trouble with balance, you can put your hand on the wall or the rail, however. But once we got the balance, make sure that that knee isn't going way out to the side, but keep that knee in line with the hips. imprint, pushing the load back out. You need to put your other hand back there to help get sensitivity, engagement. And then draw that knee back, kicking the hand, kicking the foot into the hand. Release the kick and draw the heel to the bum. And then imprint as you draw that knee back. And slowly with control, release. We'll do it on the other side. So lift that right heel up, and then lift the whole leg up, grab that ankle. Now kicking ankle into hand, arm pulling back. You can bring your left arm to your low back to really engage and get some sensitivity for that imprint. And then release the kick and draw that heel towards your bum. And then imprint as you draw that knee back a little bit farther. And release, slowly under control. Hands by our side. Close your eyes, couple of big breaths. Mountain pose. Alright, then coming back down the way we came up, we'll bring our hands down to our knees, take our bum out, slowly drop our hands down to the floor, generous bend in the knees, walk ourselves out into a nice downward dog. Maybe flex our ankles a little bit, pedaling from side to side. And then come down onto our knees. Pushing back onto our seat. And we'll do a nice relaxed cobbler pose before finishing up with Shavasana. So just roll off to the side, bring your feet forward. And then letting your feet come together, clap together, letting your knees go wide. You want to keep a nice kind of diamond shape. We're not trying to draw it in too close today, but just a nice relaxed cobbler's pose. And then once again, depending on your range, you can slowly bring your hands out, slowly start to walk your hands forward. And we're into the practice here, so just let your head drop and your back curve. Nice Z curve. If you want, for a little extra relaxation, keeping your elbows on your shins, you can bring your hands up together and rest your forehead into your hands. Close your eyes and just breathe. Letting those hips go. As you're breathing here, are you breathing into your back, letting your back ribs, your upper chest, between your shoulder blades expand? your hands a little bit farther forward. Alright, and slowly, carefully with a deep breath, a little bit of arm strength, lift yourself up. Bring hands outside the knees, bring the knees together. We'll just, once again, roll back onto our backs, grabbing behind the knees, really stretching out our spine. When we arrive, elbows into the floor, lifting our low back away from our hips, grabbing the back of our head gently, stretching our neck away, laying it down. And we'll just do a little counter pose from the Baddha Konasana. So keep your knees together, walk your feet out about the width of your mat and slightly pigeon toe your toes in. Shavasana. Alright, slowly waking ourselves up, we'll wiggle our toes, look at our fingers, and draw our knees in as we draw our arms overhead. Take a deep breath, let the arms drop, and roll off to our sides. And coming up into a cross-legged seated position. Do Om, dedicate the merit of our practice. Thank you for joining me again today. Thank you for all my teachers who brought me here, and thanks for continuing with me on this journey. Namaste.